Welcome back to your day. Soon the weather will turn chilly. We promise it's going to happen, and it'll be time for a nice warm bowl of soup. How does butternut squash soup with crispy pancetta sound? Well, it's easier than you think. Local chef Charine shows us how this morning. Butternut squash and pancetta. It sounds good to me. Show us how to make it.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good Monday morning today. I am going to make butternut squash soup for you guys today. And so there's so many different variations, but we are going to do the simplest method today. And so I have taken my butternut squash and I roasted it for 45 minutes. And that is, I like to cut mine in pieces because it takes a lot less time.
Okay.
I just put a little bit of butter on there, a little bit of, I put my thyme right on there. Salt, pepper, and then mix it up and roast it.
Okay.
And
so
then
you cut it like you cut it into squares, like when you actually cut into it. Okay. Okay.
Yes. And then I take my pancetta and I cut that up, and you can already buy it cut if you'd like. It's probably easier in the store. And then I crisp up my pancetta so we can add that in at the end as well.
Okay.
So we have our hot, very hot, and of course we use our Dutch oven because it's the easiest. And then I am just going to add a little bit of butter to that Dutch oven right now.
Okay.
And just a tad bit of olive oil. And what that does is it allows the butter not to burn. And so we're going to just melt that down. After we melt that down, we're going to add in our onions.
Okay.
And so you can put onions during this time. You could put apples during this time. You can really kind of mix it up. Whatever you guys want in your butternut squash soup to mix it. I like the simplest version.
I was going to say, I'm sticking with simple. Simple is good for me.
I like simple. Simple is good. And then so I'm going to add in I'm going to saute these onions for a second. And this is like the perfect fall soup, right?
Yes.
So everything fall right now. Pumpkin, butternut. You can go to Costco and they already have like this nice little 2-pound container of cut butternut if you don't want to cut it.
Whatever we could do to make people's lives easier, right?
Lives easier. It's fast. You could really just toss this in right when you get home. Toss your butternut squash in. By the time you're done getting the kids settled down and everything, your butternut's done. And this part takes about 6 to 7 minutes, and then you already have a soup ready to go. Throw a little salad in there, and then you are all set. All right, so we are just sauteing this onion. You just want it to sweat a little bit.
So get like a little like translucent, sort of?
Just a little translucent. Yeah, exactly.
And how long did you say that the squash took in the oven? How many, like at what temp and for how long?
So it's at 400 degrees. You can do 375 if you have them cut up, and then 400 if it's a whole butternut squash. I like to cut them up, and then I would say 40 minutes for already cut, and then we're going to do 45 to an hour for the whole shebang. And if you do the whole shebang, throw the butter right inside of the core, like get all the seeds out. Butter right inside the core, throw salt, pepper right on there, season it up, and then that butter will melt right into your butternut squash. Man, that is just,
I bet.
I mean,
it sounds delicious. It sounds delicious. So we've got our onions sauteing there for a little bit.
All sauteed for a little bit, and so now we're just going to add our butternut squash right into our pan.
Okay.
And I like to get all of those juices. Sometimes they'll be a little bit browner, and like, don't worry about that. It tastes delicious. It's all about getting the flavors in there.
Absolutely.
And so we'll just mix this up a little bit. And then, so chicken stock, I make my own chicken stock. Obviously, it's a little bit of some time to make that. I make it once a week because of clients and everything else. So I can use it for more than one thing. This soup actually is my #1 request these days.
How about that? All right. So then how much stock are we adding to that?
So we're going to do 2 quarts.
Okay.
Now, if you want to do a little bit, if you don't like chicken stock, you can do vegetable stock. That also works for you.
Okay.
If you want to make sure if you're vegetarian or vegan or anything like that, we can also make this dairy-free by not using heavy cream and using coconut milk instead.
Okay.
And now for showtime, we can't simmer this for 15 minutes. So typically you're going to simmer this for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
I bring it to a boil. And then after it brings to a boil, you're just going to turn it down. And after you turn it down, you're going to have that little, like there are little bubbles in there instead of the bigger bubbles. And so that's when you know you're really at a set, you're good to go.
You're good to go. Okay.
And so then, for me, I am going to use this handheld mixer. You can use a blender, but make sure that if you are going to use a blender, that it's hot. So
sure.
if you have something that opens up at the end, make sure you're opening it up because that can blow up.
Okay.
So you really want to be careful.
Okay.
So I like using this. It's a lot safer. And you can get this at anywhere. Target, you can get it at Williams
It's a
Sonoma.
handy little tool.
And you just go to it's a handy little tool, and we might get loud, but you just add this and then it just circles down and it's going to puree every single thing in here. And it's going to give you that really creamy, nice, creamy soup that you're going to be looking for.
And then once you're done doing that, you put it back in the pot and you add some cream to that?
Yep. And so we're just going to make sure it's creamy and nice. And then we're going to add our cream right afterwards and then our pancetta. And then we're going to top it off with some parsley and you are good to serve and go. And remember,
Wonderful.
if you want to make it dairy free, just put in the coconut milk.
Sounds delicious. Chef Charine, thank you so much for bringing us a little bit of fall because we know Mother Nature's not doing it. So eventually it'll be cool enough and we will have our butternut squash soup. It looks delicious. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Of course, we'll have the recipe for you
Have a great day.
on the website. You too. Thanks.